Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday video. I'm Marg from Creative Stamping with Marg. Today we are going to make a card that I watched in a demonstrator meeting. Genevieve Coe, our field success manager, shared with us the layout, and I thought it was a really fun one. So we're going to do that, and we're going to be using some products again from the last chance list. I have Stampin' Up! News on my desk because yesterday there was lots of things that were happening, always on the first Tuesday of the month, and talk about some retiring things. So let's go down to my desk. All right. So you can see on my desk I have a variety of things there. There we go. I think that's pretty straight. Okay, I've laid out the five retiring colors that will be leaving us in May when we change catalogs. So just a reminder that if you need the stamp pads, the ink refills, the blends, the paper cardstock, two-tone cardstock, if you need any of that, to definitely get going on ordering, because they do disappear quite quickly. Okay, I'll just set those to the side. I loved all these colors. They were very springy colors. Also on my desk, I have the new product of the month. As you know, since December, we've had a product of the month that was offered when your order hit $100. You could purchase the product of the month for $5. We started off with the True Blue floral paper, and then we had a stamp set, Fabulous Sayings. Those are both gone. So the whole point of these is when they're gone, they're gone. So those two things are already gone. In January, we had this paper, Painted Illusions, and I have been using it and having lots of fun with it. It's very pretty paper. If you haven't seen it, I will share it with you. I've got the 4 pieces laid out here. So it's a package of 12 by 12 designer series paper. You get 4 designs, 3 pieces of each, which is really nice to have all that. So the paper is gorgeous. You can see, I gotta get down even lower. You can see how it varies in color. There's the back side of that one. So the colors in this paper, I will bring in my selection of colors. Look at all the different colors featured in these papers. So there's all those. So very beautiful paper. And like I say, having lots of fun with it, lots of different colors to work with, and it's bright and interesting. Isn't this one pretty? I can see some baby cards made out of this, Easter cards maybe, and that one. So beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry, I clunked that. Not so good there, Mark. Sorry. Wow. Give you guys a headache. Okay. Beautiful paper. Look at all the colors that go with it. So many different colors. So that was February's paper, and it is still available. So if your order, like I said, is over $100, you can purchase it for $5 until it's gone. And then March's product of the month is a stamp set called Notes of Spring, 2-step stamps. And there's, looks like a goose, I'm going to say, a deer, and a bunny. And then some grasses, a floral pattern, and 3 greetings. So it looks like a cute one too. So that's for March. All right, the paper pumpkin for March is called the Fluttering Garden. I showed it to you last week. Must be subscribed to by before March 10th. I'm thinking, oh dear, this is right. It's not March 10th yet. All right, it says it creates charming cards with a hummingbird motif for Mother's Day and more. Your classic stamp spot is going to be basic gray, and it makes nine cards, 3 each of 3 designs, and coordinating envelopes. The dies, as far as I know, are still available. Beautiful Blooms dies add-on. They coordinated with January, February, and March's paper pumpkins. Okay, so there's that. All right, I think that's most of the news. Yesterday, like I said, was the first Tuesday of the month, and that is Stampin' Up's day to introduce all the new things. So There's new online exclusives to shop. There are 3 new kits to shop, and the kits are very interesting this time. They are, the two of the kits are home decor pieces, and the third one is a display racks or stands, I guess. Very interesting. So you need to check those out online. All right, let's get to our card. I'm going to move these out of the way. Okay, our card today, like I said, was done, a layout that was done in mystery stamping, and very interesting layout. And I just thought I would play with it because there's lots of options for it. So today our card is Petal Pink. It is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, so just a traditional card. Then I've chosen, because I am using the Painterly Pears paper, which was on clearance. That's the pear paper that we had on the last chance list. It appears to be gone. I just checked, so unfortunately, I'm sorry about that, but you can use any paper for this, of course. So this is the paper that I'm using today. And so I am coordinating with it, basic beige. So I have one piece that is, this is for the front. This one is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I have embossed it with the traditional wreath embossing folder. I think you can see it there. Okay. And that folder, that wreath folder, is in the last chance list still. And it was $15. It's now $13.50. You can see that it is just leaves. Everybody said, oh, it's a Christmas wreath, but it's not really. It's just leaves. So when I used it, I mean, it is just leaf impressions. So I really liked it. So that's going to go in the front of our card. See a little something there. And then I have another piece of basic beige that is 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And all I did was I ran just the edge through the embossing folder this time. Okay, like I said, I'm using the Painterly Pears Designer Series paper. So I have a 1/2 inch strip of this design for the, I'm going to use it in the inside. And I have 2 circles, which I cut from the Stylish Shapes, second from the outside, Stylish Shapes circles, 2 different patterns from that paper. I got those. I also used the largest banner in the Stylish Shapes, and I cut this. And I also, from the Perfectly Pears dies, I used this die, and I am using the stamp set for my words. I put 2 of the words together. I'm using these ones, Hello Friend, and I put it on basic beige, and I stamped it with Mossy Meadow, and then I cut it out using that die. And I cut this leaf twice out of Mossy Meadow, and I'm just going to use it on the front. And I cut 2 because I think I'm going to use 2, I'm not certain, but I have 2 to work with. Okay, and I pulled the embellishments that went with this Painterly Pears suite was the low profile sparkle dots, which are still in the last chance list for $10.40. I pulled them because they're the ones that go with it, but I'm not sure I'm going to use these. I've also pulled out the muted palette dots, which are in our regular annual catalog, but they have the petal pink, and I'm thinking I might want these, so we'll see when we get to embellishing. Okay, let's get started putting it together. I'm going to move all this to the outside. And I can pretty much put this into the inside. I don't think I'm going to stamp anything on the inside of my card because it's kind of generic. I'm using the words Hello Friend, so it could be happy birthday, it could be just thinking of you, anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Like I told you, I did emboss the edge, but I also have this piece, and I didn't know if I wanted to put this even along the bottom, just to break up that beige, or along this side. I'm just going to look at it for a second and see what I think. You have to have room to write. I think I'm going to put it up the side. So what I do, I always just lay this down next to my piece it's going on, and then I know where to start and end my glue. I did have my glue flowing already, so it should be ready to go. Okay, so I'm just going to put this up the side, just leaving a little bit of the beige showing. You don't have to. You can put it right to the edge if you like. I kind of like to let some of the color show. Then it's like that. And I will just trim the end off that I've left here, and I don't need that piece. All right, and then we can just attach that into the inside of our card and we'll be done with it. Okay, I hope everybody's having a good week so far. We are getting a lot more snow. The weather was a little cold on the weekend. Now it's kind of warmed up again. It's spring in Alberta here, I'll tell you. Never quite know what to expect. All right, so there's our inside. And for the outside, like I said, we're going to use this basic beige piece. And I did see there was a little piece sticking out there. Okay, and this card can be oriented either way, this way or a tent fold. I will show you a different orientation. Now, this particular print, you can see the pear is right here hanging on the tree, so that's the way I think I want to have it. And I'm going to put it like that. My thought process is I will put it onto here so you can see it. Maybe I should glue it on here so we can see what we're doing. I think I will. I think I'll go ahead and glue this on, and then we can play with how we're orienting it. I am using a fair amount of liquid glue because of the embossing is quite deep, and you definitely want this to stay down on the front of your card. Now this one is just allowing us that little bit of petal paint to show. So there we go. All right. So I'm going to play with these a little bit. And they can overlap your basic beige if you want it, but you just have to make sure they stay in the parameters of your card. All right. And my thought is I'm going to use this piece. It's going to go across like that. I'm going to attach Hello Friend to that. And I'm going to put those green leaves. What I was thinking was taking one of them and putting it up here in the beige part, and then this one, maybe having it in this part and trimming off the parts that are sticking out. So that was sort of my thought process on that. I think what I'll do is I will glue those circles down. They're going to just be glued flat down, and we'll use dimensionals on our greeting, and that'll give us our dimension. So I'm going to do it just like this. And I am leaving a little bit of the beige showing around so that you can see it. And this one, it just has the leaves on it, so I think it can go anyway. It doesn't really matter. And again, I'm going to orient it almost the same, just a little bit of beige showing on either end. Now this, I'm thinking, do I want it like that? I could put the green underneath it. Like that. And then maybe this one coming out the end. Just a little of the greenery, not all of it. Maybe just 3 leaves or so coming out the end here. Just a couple of leaves coming out the end like that. Not sure I like that, so no, we aren't doing that. I'm going to glue Hello Friend onto here. And I think we'll put this up on dimensionals, and then I can tuck the greenery underneath. So a little glue on my words. And it was very easy to put the 2 words, Hello Friend, on a block, and I practiced. I stamped them, to make sure they were straight before I stamped them onto here. And I changed the placement of them a little bit, put them closer together, a little further apart, made sure they were straight, and then it was easy to stamp them. Okay, I do have my dimensionals here. We'll use a few so that I guess 3 is good enough to put that up. So you're just going to take your backings off, just like that. And I just straighten my card up a bit. And I think I want it just kind of this, kind of like that. That looks straight. Before you push it down, make sure it's straight. Just, I'm going to hold it up to look at it. I think it looks good. So like that. And then I just have to decide. I think for sure I want to cut the bottom stem off here. I've got this the wrong way, sorry. I think I will cut the bottom stem off. I don't think we need that. And we'll just tuck this in here. Like that. And then this one, I'm just not sure. Maybe we want just that much. I'm thinking maybe I want to just cut this off. Like that. And tuck that in there like that. That looks good. I think that looks good. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I need my silicone mat here, makes life a lot easier. So a little bit of glue on each leaf, I think, and a little on the stem to tuck underneath. And that is our card. So very simple. I will show you another variation that I did with the orientation going the other way. So this is, if you call this one portrait, the other one is landscape. And I think I will, whoops, we got to make sure our leaves stay on our card here. There we go. All right. And then this one, I'm going to have to tuck it under a bit more, and it's getting caught. I think that little leaf is getting caught there, so I'm going to cut it off. And try that again. And you can overlap your leaves onto your greeting, so it makes it kind of interesting looking. So I think I'll do that. Okay, again, I'll use my silicone mat so I don't get glue everywhere. Just a little bit on each leaf. Half of the leaf is got sort of slits in it so that your glue would show through, but the other half is solid. So it's kind of an easy way to put your glue on the half leaf here. All right. Let's get that picked up if I can. And turn it over and get it onto our card. Oh, yeah. Drop it on our card. Get glue everywhere. Oh dear. Okay, hopefully that won't affect anything. Tuck this in that way. And I think just lay it like that. All right. Now, any glue that I got, I have a glue eraser. Unfortunately, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these, but you can get these at craft stores. And once the glue is dry, you can go across this and then you won't see the glue. So there we go. That looks good. I like the way that turned out. And embellishing. I think I wanted the pink as opposed to the greens that are on here like this in these low profile sparkle dots. I love these and they are pretty, those greens. I could use the yellow too, but because my card has the pink, petal pink base, I thought I might like to use that pink instead. So let's see what I can do with this. They come in 2 sizes, so I will use a large one. And I think because the green is here, I'm going to do one up here. And then the two small ones down here at the bottom where all the green is. There we go. Oh, run away. And there. Okay, there we go. So there's our card. for today, and it was, like I said, it was a mystery stamping, meaning that they gave you all the dimensions and you could cut your pieces out ahead of time, and then how you interpreted it, everybody's cards were different. So that's lots of fun. So that was our card for today, using the Painterly Pairs suite and the Perfectly Pairs dies and stamp set. And then I used, again, some retired paper, but I used the Delightful Wishes stamp set, which we still have. That's the stamp set there that has the word wishing, so it's in the dies. So there we go with that, and that paper, you'll recognize it went with the Delightful Wishes suite of product. It was all the yellows. So that's what I did with that. So there's our circles again, just oriented differently. And these are fussy cut flowers out of the paper. And then these are out of the paper, of course. And then I did this. So the words come from Delightful Wishes, wishing you a happy birthday. And I just cut one of the flowers that was on the edge of your designer series paper and used it on the edge here. So that's a different look, but same layout with the circles. I didn't emboss my back piece. This is a piece of designer series paper. So you can vary it up and jazz it up any way you want. I did put on some retired embellishments that I had, pecan pie, I think they are. So there's our 2 cards for today. I hope everybody enjoyed that. If you did, I sure appreciate your thumbs up. And the dimensions will all be underneath the video. And if you have any questions, you can always get a hold of me on my email or my website. And please check out the new online products and the product of the month and the online exclusive kits, 3 new kits that came out. Check the last chance list. Like I said, the paper, or did I say? Yes, I did. The paper, the Painterly Pairs paper, I think is gone. These embellishments are still there. This embossing folder is still there. And the Perfectly Pairs stamps are marked down to $16.80 and the dies are $18.50. So that's a really good buy. Isn't that leaf die gorgeous? I've used it so much. All right, so those are all the things. Hope to see you next week, and I hope everybody has a great week.